Sorry about this. That's it. So Tony, do you want to do the introduction for the second segment of the football referee, please?
Okay. Hello, welcome everybody to the second segment of the Football Referee. I am Tony the Enforcer and our host, Emmy Hickens.
Yeah. So I am Emmy Hickens, and he calls me Cos, bruv. He calls me bruv. Yeah, he calls me bruv. I got it.
And I'm Trevor Gear, and I call him Cuz.
Oh, he calls me Cos actually. Yeah, yeah. Did I get it right? Did I get it
You
right?
did.
You
Oh,
did.
You
good.
said he, yeah, you did. You did get it right.
Got
Yeah.
it right. Yeah. Right. So welcome to the second segment of the football referee. Now, Ballon d'Or nominees. Who's going first? So let's look at the first. Let's look at top 10
Hmm.
Ballon d'Or nominees. Bruv.
Well, yeah. I mean, my first nominee would be Harry Kane, who's had a brilliant season again, scored more goals in a season than some players, most players, might take at least two seasons to do or more. So I think he's got to be top of that list. So he's very much my first nominee.
And you're very right. He is top of the list. Um, the enforcer. What are we going for?
Ah, this is a tough one because if we're going about individuals, then there are a few. But I saw something saying that the Ballon d'Or is going to be based on purely how they are in the big moments, like the big final games. So if we're talking in that sense, probably maybe Dembele or something, or someone from PSG, I would assume. Uh, yeah, in big games, and you've got. But also, this is the thing when you're saying we're talking about big games. Which side are we looking at? Are we looking at Premier League side? Are we looking at League One? Are we looking at Serie A? Like it is hard to determine when it says big game moments.
Mm,
So if we're talking about like in general, like player performances, then yeah, fair enough. Harry Kane should
mm,
is definitely going to be in the top what three. But then if we're looking at other stuff, wow, probably Rashford's up there. I would say maybe if we're talking about performances. I mean,
mm,
he's got what 20 something goal assists in what La Liga,
mm,
almost
mm.
30 goals assists or something like that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
should be as classed as a contender in a sense. But then you've got also Elise, who was very good in Bayern Munich, and then on top of that, also in the Champions League. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair to him, last season he had almost around the same as Harry Kane, about 50 goals or something, but it was
All
overshadowed
right.
of Lamine Yamal because obviously
Mm,
because he's in Barca and he's the young player, he gets a lot of media hype. But in
Mm,
reality, Olise, throughout the entire season, when we're talking about young players, Olise was the best one by miles. He had
mm,
more than Lamine Yamal. He had more than a few others. I think even Phil Foden was on that list at some point as well.
mm,
So if we're talking about actual performances by players and
mm,
not by media hype like Lamal and all these youngsters,
mm,
then these are the players that should be in in the top 10. But at the
mm,
end of the day, I feel like it's more biased in how
mm,
good your media is, especially where the
mm,
club you are, and
mm,
also where you were, I would assume, by Champions League performance, because that's the only big one where you can see everybody
mm,
in.
mm,
Because I don't feel like they put that merit on Europa League or Conference
mm,
League or any of these type of leagues as well. I don't think they put
mm,
that in contendency either.
mm,
So it's going to be majority probably by Champions League. So if we're looking at that case, there'll be a lot of players from Bayern Munich and then a lot of players from PSG and
mm,
maybe a few from Arsenal too, because they did go unbeaten. They only lost in the final. They didn't lose any other game. So
mm,
like
mm,
this is a thing you can't really determine what the Ballon d'Or are thinking because they always have different plans to who actually should win.
mm,
Like Rafinha almost they came second to who? Dembele, and no, actually, no, he came third or something like that. And Lamine Yamal, who had a worse season than Rafinha, got second, which made no
Mm,
sense.
mm,
And they both play in the same club, and they
mm,
both know who should have really won that Ballon
mm,
d'Or.
mm.
So this is the thing. To me, the Ballon d'Ors have lost credit, like in terms of credibility. They've lost it because it makes no sense these days. But yeah, whoever wins it, fair enough. You know?
Yeah, yeah, great analysis. Yeah. Now you did mention Dembele, and he's second to Harry Kane on the list.
Okay.
Another person that you mentioned was Yamal. Yeah, I mean,
Lamine Yamal.
Lamine Yamal. He was third on the list, and the fourth on the list is
Why?
Mbappe. Would
See,
you have
this is
guessed
why
that?
it makes no sense. Why is he even there? He didn't. I mean, he did okay. Fair enough. This okay is not Ballon d'Or worthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is where I say PR comes into play here again. I'll be honest. Yeah, fair enough. He's young. He's good. He has a future, but he
Mm,
didn't really help Barcelona out this much at all. Because
no.
if you're talking about actually doing something, he didn't really do
Yeah,
much either. Again, yeah, again,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Now I don't know how they calculated it, but Kane is on 26%. And then Dembele is on 23%. Lamine Yamal is on 11%. Mbappe is on 8%. Now,
Vitinha, yeah,
Vitinha, he's on 8%, same as Mbappe. Um, Cross, Crosscalia,
Cavacelia, yeah, right. Yeah.
Cavacelia, yeah. Cavacelia is on 5%, and then you mentioned Elise, he's on 3% with Declan Rice, Ralphina, and guess who made the list this year again?
Was it
Ronaldo.
Rashford? Oh,
Ronaldo, yeah.
Ronaldo made the list. Rashford is not on the list. I don't know why. Why do you think Rashford should be on the list?
well, if you're talking about like actual stats of what they did, this is what I'm saying. Stats wise, he had what 30 plus goal assists. You
Hmm.
know, it's not an easy task to do. It's like even in La Liga, it's not that easy to do.
No.
It is a competitive league in a sense. It's not as competitive as the Premier League because it's a different ball game entirely. But
Hmm.
he helped Barca win the in the Liga and what's it now, the Copa del Rey as well. So you know, talking about a player who's actually helped him instead of
Hmm.
like see, this is why I say like, why is Lamine Yamal above Vitinha? And Vitinha was in the final and yet Barca has not reached the final in years. So
Hmm.
this is why I'm saying Ballon d'Ors for
Yeah.
me has lost all credibility. But yeah, if we're talking about actual like contributions,
Hmm.
to be fair, Rashford should be up there,
Okay.
you know?
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Bruv, do you agree that Rashford should be on the list?
No, I don't. I don't think he should be. He may have 30 assists or whatever, and no one doubts he's a good player. But I don't think he's not a player this past season where we've heard like week after week, Elise or Kane or whatever, they've been
Hmm.
doing the business.
Hmm.
And I think to win the Ballon d'Or, you've got to be up there with consistency. I do think. I mean, I agree with Tony on the point of it's lost a lot of credibility. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but
Hmm.
I think going back a year or two, for like the last 10 years, it was either Messi or Ronaldo. It was something akin to that, wasn't it? And
Hmm.
that I think they shot themselves in the foot because they were basically saying no one else is coming near. They may have had a list of them, but no one else is coming near. We've got to keep rewarding these two players. I mean, no one doubts how good they were, but there are different aspects of football, as we know, whether it's assists and so on. Someone I would put on there for a very consistent season is Bruno Fernandes. I mean,
Hmm.
he got his 20 assists, I think, didn't he? Which is what he was. That was some sort of record in a
Hmm.
season. And I thought he was magnificent. He never seems to be under pressure as a player. He always has time, which is always the hallmark of a great player who always seems to have time on the ball and to do what he wants to do. He
Hmm.
runs a game; it revolves around him, whatever position he's taking up. So the fact that the Ballon d'Or people don't include someone of that ability, I think is a great shame. And I would actually not quite the same level, but I will put Sabosly in that level as well to Fernandes, because he was the one Liverpool player who maintained his great form throughout
Yeah.
the season in a season where they had lots of highs and lows, mainly lows, let's face it, such that the manager's now gone. And yet
Mm,
he was consistently excellent, if not brilliant. He was consistently good. And if you don't sometimes, maybe there should be different categories. So you get the ultimate Ballon d'Or, and then perhaps they do this, I don't know. And then you
mm,
get the junior one, and then you get the all-round footballer, whatever you want to call it. I'm not saying
mm,
you widen it that much, but I think to bring Ronaldo back, I think is like choosing Jordan Henderson. Again, no disrespect to Jordan Henderson. He was a very good player, but I think he's yesterday's man. And I
mm,
think to bring Ronaldo back into something he's won so many times, you've got to
mm,
start to share the spoils around a bit, make people think, yeah, well, I want to win this Ballon d'Or. But if they know they've not got a chance in hell of doing that,
mm,
it loses its relevance, I think.
yeah. Oh, I think you both have both are good, very good points there. With the Ballon d'Or, because I don't really know how it works. We've tried to analyze it on this show, but we don't
If you've
we
got
don't know
very
how
good
it.
PR, you win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've got very good PR, you win it. Basically, that's how it
Well, is that
goes.
is that what it
That's how
is?
it goes.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
the women's Ballon d'Or, I think, was won by Aitana Bonamati. Is that right, Cuz? You got the list there?
I was going to say, I'm sure
No, I haven't got.
Barca. That
Have
Well,
you got the
she's
list?
I think
Oh,
she's
she
I think she did win it. She's 28, the highest paid female footballer in the world, and I think she's on her way now to London City Lionesses,
all right.
which will be good. Um, as incidentally, apparently, is Mary Earps coming back to this country and also going to, perhaps she wants to get back into the England squad. But just
All
as a
right.
little bit of trivia, I got a picture here of Aitana Bonmati, highest
Mm,
paid female footballer in the world. Now, she's on €1 million a year. And if I say as it says it here, she earns around 260 times less than 41-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo. To put that into perspective, one single month of Ronaldo's salary, which happens to be 260 million euros a year. So one single month of Ronaldo's salary would equal roughly 21 and a half years of Bon Marty's earnings. Now, I mean,
mm,
I'm not saying, not making a point here, and
mm,
nobody or very few, no one else earns as much as Ronaldo. What's that like? £20 million a month. I
mm,
mean, can you imagine? So it would take poor Aita Bonati, who still earns €1 million a year, which is pretty good. It would take her 21 years to match Ronaldo. And I think if it says anything, it says how crazy at the top level there, the top end. I mean, he's over 40 now, isn't he? Still a good footballer, still in the World Cup, I believe. But to earn 260 million euros a year, well, I'm all for people making what they can. I don't blame him. But the
mm,
system that allows that doesn't seem to be sensible to me.
yeah.
But all credit to that young lady for winning the Ballon d'Or, and I'm pleased she's coming to this country where we can admire her skills.
Yeah. Oh. It's yeah. It's not fair, is it? But what can you do? Um
Such is life.
but
Such
it,
is life, isn't it?
yeah, but it is coming of age though, the women's football. I think it's
Well, I
coming
think
along.
it is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
coming along where there's more talks of it and more engagement, more involvement. So hopefully, hopefully we'll get there. We'll get there. Hang on, ladies. We'll hope we'll get there someday. We'll talk about with female football like we talk about the male football at some point. I believe in the future. Yeah, well, we'll be able
But
to.
did you see, incidentally, on women's football, that Tony Bloom, the excellent, if I may put it that way, owner of Brighton, despite them being Palace's rivals,
Mhm.
he's now committed to building pretty much straight away, starting it now, a separate ground
Oh yeah, I saw
for
that.
the women adjacent to the Amex. I mean, it's beautifully situated, the Amex. I mean, okay, there's a busy road one side, but it's
Mm.
just green countryside the other. So they
Wow.
can clearly build the women's stadium in there, which makes a lot of sense because although,
Mm.
like all the teams, the women's teams, they play in the men's ground sometimes, they don't fill them. Obviously, it's not yet the level of necessary interest, but they can fill some of these smaller stadiums, which I think is what he wants to do. So it's very
Mm.
good from the women's game point of view that one of the good owners of a Premier League club is
Mm.
financing a ground just for them.
Yeah.
Right next to the men's one, so that's a good step up and might encourage other Premier League owners to do the same thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we want to follow more of the women's football as well, support and give them the support that we can in every way that we can
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. So good luck to them. Now we move on to Manchester United, the enforcer. So Edison, I don't think I've ever heard of him.
Me neither.
Uh, oh, okay, that's
I'll be
good.
honest, yeah. I know I saw everything that we have signed him.
Right.
I don't know much about him, I'll be honest. Apparently he is good, but we won't really know until what July, August time when we do preseason. That's the
Mm,
only time we will find out his actual ability.
mm,
Uh, I've seen some clips, but how he plays. At the end of the day, they're clips. I'm not gonna go watch the full match to determine that. But
yeah.
clips are clips. You can make someone look brilliant. You can make Anthony look like Ronaldo if you really wanted to
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
clips. So you can't really determine a player how they are through
Yeah.
clips. And obviously, I mean, he didn't get the call up for Brazil. Uh, it's not always how you say a downer in a sense.
Mm,
Yeah, again, it does come on down to where you play as well. Atalanta, as good as they are, they're not. They are a big club, but not the big clubs. Do you know what I mean? They are known. They're just not as
mm,
big as some other clubs, especially in Italy.
mm,
So it is hard to even get the call up, regardless. So who knows? If he plays well for us, he might
mm,
get the call up for Brazil as well. So that, like I said, I can't really determine how this guy will be until preseason. You know,
mm, That's a very good, honest, and a good analysis. Now, do we know where it's coming from?
Atalanta.
Atalanta. Yeah, you said, sorry, you mentioned that. Yeah. Yeah, so, but I know Carrick is very good with making the best use of, players that, otherwise you wouldn't think they were good players. I mean, at one point, I was looking at Fernandez and I'm thinking, what is he still doing there? But under Carrick, you can see his true potentials, can't you? It really, and Dogu,
Oh yeah,
Patrick Dogu as well, So yeah, um, should United be signing players? Should they be signing
100%.
play? Yeah,
100%. I mean, look,
yeah,
we already needed a midfield rebuild regardless. No offense to Agate, but he didn't really show up when we needed
no,
him. We sold Scott McTominay for
yeah,
him, and
yeah,
he never really, filled that hole.
hmm,
Uh, we filled it as much as we could with Casemiro and
hmm,
Kobe Manu. But when Kobe Manu was out, and I think even Casemiro was out at that point as well, we had to, we used Mason Mount and a
hmm,
few other players to try recreate a midfield that would be strong enough. And it showed that we were lacking, majorly lacking in
hmm,
midfielders. We already said we needed it before Amorim came. Amorim brought some players, and he did
hmm,
want to build a midfield, but he
yeah,
never got the chance to. And obviously, we
hmm,
never bought any players during the transfer window, winter one. So we were left with what we had. So
mm,
right, and if we're going by what Inoue said, they were going to buy more players in the summer.
mm,
So now we need to see that promise, because we do need a lot more midfield players. Because watching the game at Sunderland, it was horrible. I didn't like it
mm.
at all. We
No.
didn't have Casemiro. Cubby was left more or less by himself. Uh, Mason Mount, he had his good days. He came to Manchester United, constantly injury prone. Never really was up where he was at Chelsea, but to his level.
Mm,
But to be honest, we do need more midfielders. We need a lot more midfielders. At least two more, maybe three more. If you could
mm,
buy two more now, be brilliant, and then buy another one in the next transfer window.
mm.
But yeah, we really do need a lot more midfielders.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my question wasn't like, does a club need to buy players? My question was, we've got a lot of academy players coming up. Do we need to, that's what I was kind of thinking.
Well, on that way of thinking, in a sense,
Mm, mm,
we could bring them, but yet again, we need experienced midfielders to help them. Because I mean, who did we have? I can't remember. We had a few of the Fletcher boys on. They did okay,
mm,
but it's not what you need at that senior level. You're
mm,
going against Man City, Arsenal,
mm,
Liverpool,
mm,
Chelsea.
mm,
Who
mm.
Well, I mean, Chelsea buy players like it's a pick and mix. They just grab them all.
Yeah.
So, and in that sense, they do buy some good players
Mm,
occasionally. So, for an academy player to go against an experienced player, it's not going to be easy.
no.
Yes, if like when it comes to like FA Cup and Carabao Cup, where you rest a little bit more of the senior players, then yeah,
Mm,
show yourself,
mm,
prove that you want to be part of the senior squad. But at
mm,
the end of the day, you still need that experience, like Bruno Fernandes and
mm,
another Casemiro-esque player
mm,
to help grow. Because eventually, all of them might not stay at Manchester United. They might move somewhere else,
yeah.
like Garnacho. Granted, he did have some great players he could have learned off. He might have learned off. I mean, how he plays, he doesn't look like he learned anything, but he did have a lot of experienced players around him to
Mm,
teach him. Even Ronaldo, he was there for Ronaldo, and Ronaldo taught him a few things as well.
mm,
So when he went to Chelsea, he got a bit overconfident, and it shows. You can't always be, oh yeah, I'm brilliant. This is
mm,
me. I'm going to be the next star. It's fine to
mm,
have that mentality, but if you don't back it up like Ronaldo always said, "I'm the best," but he always went to training. He always was
mm,
there early.
mm,
He was even the last player to leave. He was constantly improving himself, and
mm,
that's what you need to do, especially for the younger ones.
mm,
You can't just come through Man United ranks or
mm,
any in any academy. It doesn't have to be Man United. In any
mm,
academy, you can't just come through the ranks and just say, "Oh yeah, I'm brilliant. This is me," and then you'll end up being like Garnacho, who goes to Chelsea,
mm,
and they're saying, "Why did we buy him?" You know,
mm,
why did we buy him when he was good at Manchester United, but when he comes to us, he's dreadful. You know,
mm, mm,
so this is why you need to actually learn from the
mm,
experienced players, and then also on top of that, improve yourself.
mm.
You know, and
Yeah. We'll come back to you.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
this is how
yeah.
the academy players will eventually, come through.
Learn. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's very true. We'll come back to Manchester United in a bit. Bro, do you
Mm.
have enough? Do you have all right? So you've got all these competitions next season now because it resets, don't it? But on top of that, you've then got the Europa League. Now,
Yeah.
do you feel like you have enough in your arsenal to cope with
No,
this?
certainly not.
Hmm.
Not least because we're losing Daichi Kamada, the
Hmm.
Japanese fellow who's been very, very good. He
Hmm.
started off not well a couple of years ago, and he played for Glasner before, and he stuck with him. Did Glasner at Palace, and Palace? We don't really boo. We never boo players. It's never going to
No.
get them anywhere. But there were some times in his first few games, or not the first few, but after a while, sort of gasps of disappointment when he messed up something. He didn't have the pace, but once he got the pace of the Premier League, he was very good. Anyway, he's at the end of his contract, and I suppose it might, I don't know, suit him to go. He is going. Now that
Mm,
Glasner's gone, perhaps he'll go to where Glasner is next time. And clearly, other players have already gone. We lost Gay and we lost Eze. Okay, that was a few months ago. But we need some more players. There's no question about it. One or two quality players as well, because if Walton does go, and I mean, there is a chance he might,
mm,
he is in demand. He's a very good future prospect for clubs, I think. So, particularly if we lose him, and I'm trying to think of anybody else. I mean, we've got a pretty sound defence. In a way, someone called Camvo has taken over Gay's place, and he's only 19, but apart from the odd mistake, he's actually looking a good prospect. So defence, I'm not so worried about. It's more
mm,
midfield. I mean, we've got Hughes, who's a good, committed player, but he probably doesn't have the finesse of a creative midfielder like Walton.
mm,
Pino, who plays for Spain, he'll be at the World Cup. I think he's a very good player. He started off again a little bit lightweight, but he's found his place in the team. I imagine Mateta will go. I read yesterday that Forest are thinking of tabling a bid for him. And from what I read, other people's views and probably mine, I wouldn't think Mateta would want to go there after, the differences between the two clubs. And also, I think he had that sort of medical stuff, didn't he, for I think it was one of the Milan clubs, AC Milan, and it all went wrong. It went belly up in January because
mm,
I think something on his knee showed up as an ongoing injury. So that didn't come to anything. But I still think, especially as he plays for France, he's looking for a bigger payday and perhaps a club even outside of the Premier League, because I don't think the big clubs in the Premier League would come for him. He's not that good. He can score goals sometimes. So I think he will probably go. And it's interesting because we've got the two guys we bought in January, Strand Larson, centre forward from Wolves, and what's his name from Spurs, who scored the goal last year
Brendan
in
Johnson.
their cup when they won the cup. What's his name?
Brendan Johnson.
Oh, Johnson. Yeah, Johnson, his heart's in the right place, as is Strand Larson. I don't think either of them as yet, have justified their fees. I think Strand Larson was about 45 million or 48 million,
mm,
and Johnson was about 35. Now, that's a lot of money heading towards 100 million. And they're not even, as the end of the season we came towards there, they weren't even the first choices. Mateta got himself back on side with the fans and the club. Johnson has never really done much when he's come on. He certainly tries hard, and I think most of us agree that there is a footballer in there. There is in both of them, but I don't think they've shown really what they can do in the last few
no,
months. So
no,
whether a new manager will want to stick with them once he's seen them, etc., or
mm,
anybody else for that matter, that's why to me it's important they get somebody quickly who's going to lay out what he's looking for, what his plans are, and what players he might want to try and get in the window.
mm,
So to answer your question, yeah, I think Palace do need probably three or four players, maybe a decent defender. Maybe I said the defence is pretty good, but a good defender, certainly a creative midfielder, and a good goal-getting forward striker. Again,
mm,
things most clubs would like as well, I suppose. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But to me, so much will hinge on when we get a new manager, and of course who it is. If it's
mm,
not someone the fans rate or want, then that's going to be a little bit of a letdown.
mm. Very true, very true. Now, we're going to just go to Liverpool now. Um, Slot is gone, and there's strong rumors or strong indications that they're going to get Iroala.
Mm.
Um, now, what do they need to do? Because, all right, so the manager's gone, but I have a feeling that it's not entirely the manager's fault that they've had a poor season. I think some of the players are to blame as well. Now they've got to replace some players. and they've got to get some players in. Ekitike, I don't know what his return date is. Maybe he might be fit to start next season. We don't know yet. What's his name? Isak. Not really. Not really fully fit yet,
Mhm.
I suppose. Now, what would he be needing to do, this new manager? What would he be needing? What does he need to fix to get Liverpool back on track? The
Well,
enforcer?
for me, it was always they always had that one player that was a missing link. That they always needed to find that one missing link.
Right,
Because before there was Sadio Mane and Mo Salah and
right.
Firmino. Firmino left. It was always hard to find another striker. I can't remember who they found after that. But when Sadio Mane left, it was tough because Mo Salah was already left. So it was
Mm,
then, oh, I think they brought in Luis Diaz after that. So it was always Luis Diaz and then Mo Salah. At the front, it was always harder because they always needed just that one player that would help them or turn around. And I
mm,
feel like it's always an ongoing situation with Liverpool. No matter who they
mm.
bring now, there's always going to be that one missing player.
Yeah.
Who that one missing player is, we'll never know.
No.
But yeah, I mean they're losing a lot of good players from
Mm,
I mean Conte's gone now. He was okay for them as a defender. His track record wasn't always the best, but
mm,
when he needed to produce something, he did. But a lot of the senior players are going. Like Andy Robertson is going. Also, Mo Salah's gone. And then Conte's gone now. He was also classed as a senior player.
mm,
Alisson is also 50-50. There are rumors that he might go to Juventus.
mm,
So a lot of their like senior players,
mm,
experienced players are going. So they're gonna need to find some more experienced players to bring
mm,
into that Liverpool squad to help
Mm.
out. There's still a lot of young players that need
mm,
to learn a bit more.
mm,
But yeah, it's they're gonna need a fair few players to rebuild what they had. Like you're saying,
mm,
Szoboszlai this season, he was the main, engine of Liverpool. Whenever they needed that little extra push, he was always there. If it came to a free
mm,
kick, they'd be like, okay, you know what, Szoboszlai might get this goal in. Or if never mind,
mm,
Szoboszlai will pass us that ball, we'll get it in.
mm,
Uh, yeah, it's going to be a tough one for Liverpool because I know
mm,
for Manchester United it's a bit easier. We know where we need help, but with
mm,
Liverpool it's always harder because they always say, "Oh, we just need that one extra player, or we just need
mm,
this one extra player, and that's it." But then there's
mm,
also another. Well, like I said, there's always one missing link, and they never
mm,
seem really to find it.
mm,
But at the end of the day, they also need to be careful who they send out on loan and stuff like that because they sent out Luis Diaz to Bayern
mm,
Munich, and
mm.
it's not helped him at all.
Mm.
No,
I feel like
no,
they sent out the wrong player. Obviously, you can't determine for Jota. We never knew what was going to happen to Jota.
no,
That
no.
that was how it was. But maybe they were assuming that Jota was going to be like the other main man for this season. So you always have to plan for another player in
Mm,
my sense of view. So it's going to be a tough one for Liverpool to decide who they're going to bring in. And I mean, it is Liverpool at the end of the day. They have the pull. They can bring in
mm,
whoever they want, like how we
mm,
can. If we really wanted a player, we could get him. So it's the same thing with Liverpool. If they are serious and they really want to go back to how they were before, when
mm,
Klopp was there, they need to start thinking seriously who we're going to bring in to help for next season.
mm, mm. Bruv?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting season, this coming one,
Mm,
because what you've just said about Liverpool, I think applies to Manchester City because they too a complete clear out. The manager, well, not a complete clear out, but the manager's gone, and obviously much of the coaching staff, I imagine, and some of the players. We know Stones has gone from there, and others, and I mean there are even rumours that Haaland is being looked at. I don't know whether it was Real Madrid, but
Real Madrid,
one
yeah.
of the Spanish clubs was looking at him,
mm,
and in his 9 year contract, what is it, 500,000 a week or something. It just wouldn't surprise me if he goes, because this is again a transition time for them, a great transition, particularly if things go against them on these charges, and something must happen soon about that. And I think the rumours suggest it will be in these next couple of months. So that's going to be interesting. So Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Chelsea have had a disappointing season. I mean, some pundits were saying they think they would win it this past season or be finished very high up, and that's been a real disappointment for them. And we think of your favourite cuz Cole Palmer, not even
Yeah.
selected for England. And in a way, when the more I thought about that, I like him as a footballer, but I don't think he's helped himself. He's kind of comes across a little bit sulky sometimes if it's not going his way, and I don't think he's got into the games like, say, O'Reilly at Man City. I mean, he's a real discovery. I mean, they obviously come up with great players. They did. Palmer came from there as well, Man City. But O'Reilly has been a revelation. When you see the way he's linked up there on the left with Mark Gahey, he's a tremendous player, and he's obviously still very young. And I just don't think Palmer at the moment is fulfilling the potential that everybody thought he had, which is why he went to Chelsea, knowing he was way down the priority list at City. So you can't blame him for doing that. So you've got those top clubs all looking to change and trying to get the pieces of the jigsaw. And then, of course, you've got, is it the three Bs, as I call them? You've got Brighton, Brentford and Bournemouth, who all did very well this past season, kind of almost got to that next level of being top half Premier League teams. And all did really well. I mean, I'd like to think Palace did that last season, finished about 10th, I think, 10th or 11th. But we need to push on and get a bit. I mean, it shows being in Europe isn't always a positive. It affects your league form. It's just the way it goes. And I think most of us would say, yeah, we won that cup. We'd have preferred that and finished 15th than finishing 8th and not winning that cup. So you've got to get your priorities. But those teams are going to be pushing on, and Fulham are not far behind. The quality of the Premier League, I think it's in a bit of a state of flux, really. It's not as good as it has been, with the top teams really standing out. Of course, I haven't mentioned Arsenal. Yeah, we know they're a very, very good team, but no good team stands still. If you're standing still, you're going backwards in life as well as football. And so I think after the disappointment of what happened last Saturday against PSG, I can see they're going to want to be strengthening in one or two places. Yeah, they got a good team, they got a good reserve pool of players. But I think if I know Arteta at all, he's going to want to beef this up a bit, maybe more competition. Maybe they'll let one or two go who they don't think have quite made the grade. So I think Arsenal too. I mean, otherwise, if the other teams are rebuilding, Arsenal could steam through and win it again. I mean, they could, because they are that good a side. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting season, given the number of managers who've gone, changes of manager, teams rebuilding, disappointment this season for some and so on. So, yeah, I mean, I'm already looking forward to next season to see just how it's all going to work. And as part of that, as I've said, I do hope Palace get 3 or 4 players to give us the chance to kind of take the next step upwards.
Yeah. So what's next for Arne Slot? Have we heard anything about next job lineup for him? No.
I think he might be going to Ibiza as a DJ, because he did that, didn't he, in last season? And one of the breaks, he went after Ibiza, which seemed a bit out of character. But I say, all strength to his elbow. If that gives him a buzz and he gets him away from his main day job, then good luck to him. But no, I mean, I think someone will come in for him. I can't really see a Premier League team doing it, because I don't think he'd want to go, down the rankings to anybody less than the top 3 or 4. So he may go back to Holland, Netherlands. Who knows? But I'm sure someone will come for him. It shouldn't be forgotten. He did win the league in his first year, albeit with maybe largely Klopp's team. So I think he was kind of, if I can put it this way, he was a bit shat upon, probably not the sort of thing I should say on a podcast, by some of the players. I mean, I think Salah was a prime example. I've always liked Mo Salah as a player, but I think it was really unnecessary, his dropping that grenade on Slot, because the rumours were they were going to keep him. I think the owners, the powers that be at Liverpool, had definitely indicated, without actually saying definitely the case, they were going to keep him. They were going to give him another couple of years. But I think Salah reminded people that perhaps this wasn't the Liverpool that it used to be. Well, that's the way it is. That's what happens. You know, they lost Jota. I think what Tony said was right. My view has always been Jota was going to be the man for this past season because he was coming of age. He was a great footballer. He would come on often as a substitute, and you could see his quality. And I think they were going to build a lot of the team around him. Well, of course, that was not to be. But I don't think it did Slot's chances any good when Salah came back after what happened over the winter period to sort of skewer him on a whatever. So yeah, I think that did for Slots, but I think he'll be all right. As other people have said, I don't feel sorry for managers in the sense that they're not going to think, oh God, I've got to get food on the table. I've got to get another job. I mean, they're multi-millionaires, these guys. So yeah, I'm not going to be shedding any tears, but they know what they go in for. Maybe there's a personal humiliation amongst their family and friends, like anybody else when they're sacked. To actually be sacked from any job is a bit humiliating, I guess. But they've at least got the compensation of looking at their bank accounts.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I mean, I would love to be sacked as a football manager. Imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you
definitely.
fail, it's the only job you fail at, and you get a load of money shoveled at you.
You
True,
check your
true.
bank balance. You don't have to sign on. You check your bank balance and it's there. You're like, okay,
Yeah,
everything is good.
yeah.
Life is sweet. Yeah,
Like, yeah,
absolutely.
I know.
It'd be
Anyway,
really
this is
funny. Oh, I was gonna say it'd be really funny if Mo Salah stays now at Liverpool
Yes, it
after
would.
everything.
It would.
oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't think he
yeah,
will, but you never know.
Never
You
know.
yeah,
never know. No.
yeah. Would they want to keep him though? That's the other question. Would the management be happy to say, stay? That's the thing because he's already said his goodbyes and he's done his farewell.
So did
Um,
Martinez, and he ended up staying anyways. The goalkeeper for Aston Villa. He
Yeah,
was
he did.
crying his eyes out.
Yeah,
Everybody ended up staying anyways.
uh,
yeah.
I love Martin. I think he's the best goalkeeper in the world. I love him. Um, my bruv actually doesn't agree with that, but of
I'm in
course,
the same boat. I'm
I
in the same
no,
boat.
I love
Yeah,
him.
he's not my favourite goalkeeper by
No,
any means.
Yeah.
no, yeah, well, right, okay. So this is all we've got time for on this week of on the second segment of the football referee. I hope you've enjoyed it. All that following us live and all that will be watching it on demand, as they say. So I've been Emmy Hickens, and he calls me Cos.
And I'm Trevor Gear, and he calls me bruv.
And I'm Tony, and they call me the enforcer.
It's a
Well done.
goodbye from me.
Goodbye
Goodbye,
from me.
everyone.
See you all next week.